Good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. Today we have with us Valerie. Valerie, introduce yourself.
Hey, I am
Hey.
Valerie J. Cohen, CEO of Pen of the Writer and founder of When I See Me Children's Book Fair. Right now it's based out of Dayton, Ohio. And my whole goal is to provide children with books of color, characters that feature children that look like them, written by authors who look like them. So the When I See Me is really providing a diverse literature for children so that they can fall in love with reading, see themselves in the story, consider themselves the hero in their own story, and then hopefully once they learn to read, then they'll be excited about reading to learn.
Nice. How do we get here? How do we get on this journey to When I See You?
That's a good question. So this journey, I've been publishing books since 2006 or so, and I published 189 authors. Just before the pandemic, 2019, I wrote my first children's book. So I've got about 15 books of my own that I've written. And then in 2019, October 2019 specifically, this book dropped, Oh, the Things I Can Be When I See Me, which are my grandbabies, Samara and Lyric. And I also have a Spanish version of that book. And so when I started going out into the schools, because now the audience is very different. Instead of relationship advice for women from the Forbidden Secrets of the Goodie Box or Step Family, I know it. Relationship advice that your father didn't tell you and your mother didn't know, that part. I shifted from that. I know we could talk about that too, but I shifted from that to children's books because now my grandbabies, they're coming and visiting me from out of town, and we're talking about what they want to be when they grow up. So I was like, this would be a cute little book for girls. And of course, because my grandbabies are black and brown, then my book has black and brown characters because it's actually them. When I started going out to the schools and talking to the children and reading and, asking questions about what they want to be when they grow up, I realized that there were a lot of children who had never seen themselves or children who look like them in the books. And statistically, CCBC, I think is the Collaborative Center of Book something, they have identified that less than 27% of all children's books that are published feature children of color. That's black and brown, Asian, Native American, Hispanic, Polynesian. All that group together is less than 27%, which means 73% or more feature either Caucasian children or animals, vegetables, talking flowers, that kind of stuff, which is great. But our babies can't see themselves in a talking rabbit. It's cute. Or like Dr. Seuss, he has great books, but what are those whatchamacallits and who's he what's it's?
Homeschool families. Homeschool Yo Kids Expo and Homeschool Beats Academy are teaming up to bring you a day of real support and real inspiration. Come explore curriculum and enrichment, meet trusted vendors, and connect with the homeschool community. And at our featured Expo stop, meet Homeschool Beats Academy and see how students ages 7 to 18 can create original music through beat making and production with parent-friendly guidance. Get dates and details at homeschoolyokidsexpo.com.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
thing one and thing two.
Thing one and thing two. What is that thing? But they don't connect to the child as to who they are, to connect with their racial identity, their cultural identity, their lived experience. And so when the book came out, I realized that. I was like, oh my gosh. But the book fair that I now host, the When I See Me Children's Book Fair, came out result of me being at a Black History Month 2020, just before the world shut down. And a little girl ran to the table. It's me. Now she's the color of this baby, Lyric. Mm-hmm. And she's like, it's me. And her brother said, girl, that's not you. Yes, it is. It's me. Her brother, because he was brown skinned. And she was lighter than all the other kids. It was, the father had 6 children. She was the lightest of the six. And she stood at that table. She hovered at my table. And at that point, I had sold the book to the bookseller. I was there supporting the bookseller. So it wasn't mine to just give away. So I handed her a bookmark and said, hey, baby, you can color this. This is Lyric. It's Mary. You can color the back of the bookmark. She looked,
Not interested.
No, you don't see me standing here in front of this book. And her father said, I can't get a book for her because I don't have money to buy a book for all 6 kids. Mm. So I was like, oh my gosh. I talked to the bookseller. Look, I know you've bought this from me, but can you give it to her and then I'll replace the inventory later? I can't let this baby leave without this book. She said, sure, no problem. So, switched out the book, signed it to little Kaylee, and then she went on her way. And at that point, I decided that when I start having my book fairs again, I am going to start doing book fairs that focus on children of color, and every child who comes is going to be able to get a free book of their choice. Because before my book fair that I do now, I used to do a book fair city. I've been doing citywide book fairs in Dayton since 2004, but they were general authors, all kind of genres, male, female, black, white, whatever you were, come one, come all, published or self-published, traditionally published, independent published, everybody was welcome. And then I shifted during the pandemic, that all shut down. So when the pandemic passed, I was ready to relaunch. I went to the whenisee.com book fair is what I host now. And the kids love it. The parents, I mean, they pack the place out. I have it at a local library. Every child who comes gets a free book of their choice. So they get a voucher that they can go through the room, meet the authors, talk to the authors. The kids are actually interviewing the authors. These kids are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, talking to the author. But why'd you write this book? Which one is your favorite? Which one's the most popular? I mean, really getting into it. And so then they choose a book. The author autographs the book for them. But they also get Chick-fil-A gift cards. They get writing journals. They get multicultural crayons. They get bags. We had with mascots, 2 mascots this past year, the library mascot, and then one of our sponsors, his mascot was there. It's just an amazing experience. My son is a mental health therapist, so he comes in and does work for the kids in the mental health space. He does social emotional learning with the children relative to expressing your big feelings. What are your big feelings? How do you express them? You know, productive ways. When you're angry, what can you do in a productive way type thing? The Dolly Parton Imagination Library is there. We have something in our city called Preschool Promise. They come to the event and sign up children so that children in our community, when they go home, they'll get a book every month. Children from 3 to 5 will get a book mailed to their home every month. And then a couple other organizations are there, but all of us are there.
Homeschool families, are you ready to refresh your plans for the year? Join us at the Homeschool Your Kids Expo. Meet curriculum and enrichment vendors, discover new programs, and connect with a community that gets it. All in one place. Come with questions, leave with real options. Get event details and register now at homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com. That's homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com.
To empower, encourage, and edify the children, the families. It's a great experience.
Sounds like it is amazing. You know,
yes.
I'm a reader. I love books. I love books. I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
Because I'm always talking about the literacy rate and, you know, national crisis that's you know, kind of quietly swept. So I love talking to the authors and the individuals that understand the importance of definitely Black and Brown individuals seeing themselves in stories. Because, honey, what do we read going to school? Like, look, you know, I taught English, so I taught books that were on the curriculum list that we had to read. And then I tell a story of how I had to write when I was teaching 10th grade. I had to basically write a dissertation for us to be able to read The Hate You Give because it had one F word in there. But we read Of Mice and Men that their whole chapter 4 was dedicated to a Black character that we don't know his name besides the N word. He was called an N-back. The whole book, I don't even know how many times they said it in that chapter 4. But that whole chapter 4 was about this. And it stuck with me, of course, because I'm still talking about it, that we could read that book with no issues in a Title I school, you know, like all these Black and brown children looking at me. But I had to fight for us to be able to read a book with characters that look like them.
Yeah, we had a mother here whose daughter was reading, I want to say it was Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, one of those books. And in the book, I don't know if it was the N word, but he kept referring to the black man as slave, 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 and, you know, demeaning him and everything. And her daughter was devastated. Like, Mom, I don't like this book. Her mother rallied the troops and said, looky here, we're not going to read this anymore. And they ended up taking it out of the school system. So you're right. There has to be a balance. Like if you're going to tell my children that they can read these type of words, whatever those words are that are offensive to us and our culture and our people, then we should be allowed to tell our story from a different perspective.
Yes,
in my community, in my community, I live in Dayton, Ohio, the 3 lowest ranking school districts in all of Ohio. Now, this is the 2022-23 report card. I haven't gone back in and checked because that's when I was doing the work. I don't know that it's changed much, but out of over 600 school districts in my community, the 3 lowest were in my immediate community. And the commonality was, although there may be a lot of different underlying factors, the most predominant thing that stands out is that those schools are majority Black and brown children. And then, you know, we know about the whole preschool to prison pipeline. And if a child doesn't learn to read by the 3rd grade, they're more than likely not ever going to learn how to read. And that affects, of course, their quality of life and everything else that goes along with that. And so once I got out and started doing children's books and learning these statistics and finding out these things, because I'm an academic. I mean, I'm an engineer by degree. I got a master's degree. I made sure my sons, both of them have master's degrees. So it baffled me that babies in this immediate community were struggling with reading and not connecting to the story and not feeling what they're feeling or feeling what they're feeling, partially because they weren't seeing characters that look like them. So there's this big organization that does school book fairs. I'm not going to mention them in case, liability issues, but the truth is the truth. And I go in and I'm talking to the media specialist, what they formerly called librarian. And I was like, what is all that? What's all those books? What's those boxes over there? She said, oh, those are the books from the name we shall not be mentioned. And the kids don't want them because there's no characters in any of those books that look like them. And it was a predominantly Black school. And the kids were like, who is this person? What is this about? They couldn't relate to the stories. They couldn't relate to the characters. They couldn't relate to the stories. And so they had to ship a whole bunch of books back. There's no diversity in even organizations that give kids books or position themselves to sell books in the schools. There's not a lot of diversity. Part of that is because they are very selective in the publishing houses that they use for their books. But part of it is a lot of them only use traditional publishing houses. Like Dolly Parton Imagination Library is fantastic, but I hear from parents all the time, there's not a lot of diversity in the books. Dolly Parton gets her books from Scholastic, and Scholastic buys traditionally published books. Well, a lot of authors are not traditionally published anymore. And even if they are, there's still not a lot of authors of color who are traditionally published and doing children's books. It's just that there's a gap there. And what I found is there are a lot of amazing self-published titles. I've got some of these books are by my authors. This was a bestseller. This one is by another author. She did a children's book and a picture book, bestseller. This author here, she writes books based on ADHD. She does do stuff with the Children's Medical Center, ADHD and autism.
What are we going to do with you?
Yeah, there's all kind of books that don't just focus on being Black. Like we are more than just Blackness. I mean, I think those books are great. Don't get me wrong; those are great books. But we are everyday people. We eat, sleep, drink. We have families, we have traditions, we celebrate holidays, we go to school, daddy's in the house. There's all kind of things that society has kind of labeled us as people, some things that may apply to some people, but not all people. And when when children read books and they can't connect to the message or they don't see themselves in the message, it's hard for them to internalize the message and then see that I can be the hero. This is a great book. This guy looks like me. I can do that.
The thing is, how often are they painted as the hero in the books that are read in the school? When I first started Homeschool Your Kids organization, when I created the app, because I did that first, my main thing was talking about identity and purpose being lost in students especially students that look like me that are going through the school system, because how do you combat hearing for 13 years straight that you are less than, that you were a slave, that you are a minority, like everything minimal, like anything you could think of is a negative connotation from the start with Black and brown kids.
Absolutely.
And you're supposed to overcome that once you graduate, and you're supposed to see yourself in other positions, but you never saw it while you were in school. You were never introduced to those books, those authors, this is detrimental. It's detrimental. And that is why the school to prison pipeline works as it does, because it's like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like I've been told this for 13 years. I was supposed to be here anyway. It's like, this is normal. You know how many of my kids normalize interactions with police in 7th grade? I had 7th graders telling me, oh yeah, Miss Carter, the police mess with us all the time when we walk home. What? Do you tell your parents? Like, I know this is not okay.
It's not okay. Right.
But it's okay in their world because that is what they know. That's what they're familiar with. That's what they've been told. Go ahead, Valerie.
I was just going to say, when you said that example about the police, I have 2 Black sons. And I was very concerned about, how they were in school. I was diligent about staying on top of the teachers. And when it did come time for them to drive, I did the whole, if you ever get pulled over, this before cell phones, 10 to 2, let your window down, don't do any quick movements, turn on the light, have the information ready. I taught them all of that. And I don't know that other families or other cultures don't do that, but to me, it felt necessary. I have to do this to protect my sons. Here's how you respond. Now, I don't know if I told him say no, sir, yes, sir. I said, but you be respectful. No quick movements. I don't know if everybody has to do that for their children in preparation for interaction with the police. And it shouldn't be that way, but that's our life, like you said. Even teachers, I'm a mother of Black sons. And so I thought I had to be very diligent. I had 2 instances with their teachers who were trying to diminish my son's success. One of them, and now my boys they're smart. They're brilliant young men. I know, if I do say so myself, but they are. And one time, my baby boy, I can't remember which of the 2 sons was in maybe 2nd grade or 3rd elementary school. I got his report card, and his handwriting is jacked up. So seeing handwriting, I'll accept it. You can write it, just terrible. You can't. It's still terrible. So I can't blame him for that. But then he started telling me his grades, and then he had gotten B in math, which was perplexing to me because we do math homework. I'm an engineer by degree. I teach math. I'm not. How did you get a math? Let's talk about this. Everything was else. B's not bad, but it didn't make sense to me. So I called the teacher. Hi, Mr. So-and-so. This is Lamar's mom. I'm trying to understand. Can you tell me what his grades were for his math class? She said, oh, he got a 90, he got an 87, he got a 96, he got a 92, he got an 89, he got a 93, I said, were there any zeros in there? She said, no, he turned in all the assignments. I said, did you forget to tell me anything? She said, yeah. I said, well, then those average out to about a 92, 93. She didn't know I was doing the math in my head. I said, let me understand, unless you change the grading system where it requires a 94 to get an A, why did he get a B? Because obviously has an A, because back then A was 90. Oh, well, he could have done better work. He could have done better. So I gave him a B. I said, wait. You're telling me he did A work, but because you feel he could have done better, which he probably could have, you going to give him a B because he could have done better? Yeah, that's the way. No, we're not doing that. Not doing that. You're going to give him what he earned. He worked for an A. You're going to give him an A. Well, I don't think it's not what you think. It's what he earned. You gave me the numbers. Let's go over the numbers again. So he started rattling them off again. I said, yeah, that's a 93. What are you talking about? Well, I just don't feel like Judge Judy. I don't care about your feelings. The facts are the facts.
And we're not here to discuss feelings.
The facts are the facts. He got a 93. That's 93 work. Matter of fact, that's not just an A. That's a little better than an A. So I want you to change his grade to A. Well, I'll change it because you're telling me to. No, you're going to change it because that's what he earned. And if I have to contact you again about this, I'll reach out to the principal. We're not doing this to my son. Then another time a teacher was calling about something. I don't remember what it was. When I tell you I get done with these ladies, they retire. I'm not mean. I'm not the angry black woman, but you are not going to use my son as you're never going to amount to anything, child.
No, you're your child's advocate. That doesn't equate to no. And that's what I tell parents all the you are supposed to be up in that classroom like that. You're supposed to be on that phone. You're supposed to be in that email. Anything. If this doesn't look right, no, I know what we're doing at home. Like you said, girl, I'm a whole engineer. My son ain't bringing no beat home.
And she was, so one time, one of my, I think this might have been my other baby, another teacher, similar situation, but I think she said something derogatory to him in class. I can't remember what it was. Called her Mrs. Basham. Excuse me, what's going on in class? Do I need to show up to school? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Well, I said, okay, let me tell you something. Matter of fact, this might have been in a parent-teacher conference because I handed her my business card that said senior automotive engineer. I said, if you ever have any trouble out of my child again, you call me. And then we'll get it rectified. Don't wait until the end of the semester, give him some jacked up grade. And this could have been rectified earlier in the school year. So here's my number. Girl, when I tell you, she called me all the time. I said, wait, now you're getting carried away. It's too much. Wait. Lamar's chewing gum too loud. If you don't get somewhere and sit down, lady, I am not the one for this buffoonery.
Teachers can be bullies. I tell people.
Right. I'm not going to let you do that to I'm not going to let it happen. But they'll do it. I'm sure they probably still do it today. They may be more covert about it, but if you're not careful in protecting your children, people, and not just, teachers or teachers who are non-color, it could be anybody who could say the wrong thing. All it takes is one thing, and that can diminish the child's confidence, self-esteem, and then they are stuck in this rut. You don't know why, and they can't get out of it.
Girl,
so I'm an advocate, and I advocate for other babies too.
Please, my great niece in Florida, honey. Okay, my sister called my sister called me. This is her son's daughter, so my great niece. Okay. There's a lovely teacher. I can't even think of his name right now, but our show was in his inbox, honey, with a whole essay telling this man he may need to rethink what he's doing, and maybe it's time for him to exit out the classroom because maybe you forgot why you're there. She's in the 4th grade, girl. In the 4th grade. Okay. Yeah. Why am I talking to a 4th grade teacher about your importance and your impact you have on her love for learning? Like if you have an issue, then say and express on that issue. But the whole thing came about because my sister, she came home with a bad grade. And so my sister sent him a message because, they got the little student portal now and you can see the grades and all that stuff. So she sent him a message and asked, what can we do to improve her grade? And he sent back something about like her character. I said, don't worry. Tell me character? Her character, like her character.
The child or the mother? He was talking about
the child.
Okay.
My great niece.
Mm-hmm. But
that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. Her character is not going to bring up her grade, love. Like, what are we? I'm asking her how she got this grade. So I had to send a whole little message, and he didn't respond to it. But I sent a whole nother one because he started making comments like, like I said, teachers can be bullies, and this is a Black man too. So that's why I'm like, oh no, don't subject it to color, because understand
right.
That when they forget for all. It's not, like these teachers they get in there and they be in there so long that it just becomes like, oh, I forgot why I came here. Mm-hmm. It's like you need a reminder. But that's what I told my sister, and I tell any parent that I talk to, or be present. Let them people know that you care about this child that's in their classroom, because that's what these teachers have to know. Like they're so quick to write off and generalize, like, oh, your mama probably doing this, or your daddy this, or da-da-da.
Right.
No, honey, not this one. Like, no, not only parents that love her. She got the cousins, the aunties, the great grandma. Like, yes, great auntie. Everybody's gonna ride for her. So please understand that. And after that, girl, he all right now.
And I think you're right. A lot of times that's what it takes, is that one person to advocate. If you think about, even as we get older, when we get to our senior years, those family members who are in nursing homes or assisted living places, those who have people who come through and check on them regularly, advocate for them, I think they get a better quality of service
taken care
because
of,
they know so-and-so's daughter gonna be here, and if this ain't right, we gonna hear about it.
You know she about to, she gonna
get with all of us. So let's make sure, and we don't know when she coming because she gonna surprise visit us. So let's make sure we treat this one. But it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be selective, care for this or that one based on the advocating, somebody advocating for them. It shouldn't be that way. But that is like, that's what it is. Absolutely. But yeah, advocate. Look, my grandkids, I am that all-in grandmother. And I am that auntie. I am the favorite auntie of all my nieces and nephews. She is me. Right. I will advocate for them, like with their parents. Mimi, I'm Mimi. Mimi, mama, but I said, do I need to talk to your mama? I got it. All right. Let me know. Mimi, my daddy said, what? How'd that make you feel? Right. Do I need to drive? Mimi can get in the airplane, come see what's going on. And not that anybody's being mistreated, but I immediately go into protection mode. That mama bear mode is a real thing. Yes, and I know my sons are doing right by my grandbabies, but just if it ever got to the point where I needed to defend them at school. I remember when I first took my son to college, Lamar, my oldest, I did a lot of college tours, went to a lot of campuses, and we landed, he literally chose one college. We get there, and their orientation was like in June, which was early. I'm glad it was, but it was early in June. And then when we get there, my husband and I, we like drop him off. It's a 2-day thing. So we drop him off and stay at a hotel and chill. So the next day I come back and he's got this look on his face. I said, Lamar, what's wrong? Now this was in a very rural area off the beaten path, a predominantly white school. And I said, Lamar, what's wrong? What's wrong? He had this look on his face. I said, did somebody call you? I'm not your name. No, Mom.
Already ready. Look.
Hello. He said, there's just no black people here. I said, boy, there wasn't no black people here when we visited the campus. I brought his brought his high school friend with him because his family wasn't really taking him around. They so busy kikiing and Cohen, they didn't notice there wasn't no chocolate people on campus. But I'm ready. Who? It has to be that way. And that really, it doesn't stop. My sons are grown, and even now, not that I need to defend them, but I will in an instant.
And they know you will.
And people have told them, I know your mother's a ride or die. That's right. Don't get it twisted. Don't come at me with foolishness about my sons, because first of all, I ain't going to believe you. I ain't going to believe it until I talk to them. And then once I talk to them, then we'll figure it out. But I'm not going to believe you. You say, well, he did what? Goodbye.
Yes. And then that's the thing too. Parents need to hear that because they take these teachers' words so quickly. So quickly. All they got to do is say this. And, I know you was, I don't know where he got that from because I ain't raised him like that. Well, honey, if you know you ain't raised him like that, well, why are you not talking to him? Why wouldn't you want to talk to him and say, hey, where did you get that from? Are you acting like this in this lady class?
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from? Like, let us get on the same page here.
Yes.
But
no side of the story, then we can make a solid decision and solution. But if I'm just taking one side of whatever the situation is, you're not going to get the whole story.
No, just like how children should be present for their parent-teacher conferences. It's like, how are you going to talk about the child when they're not even here? Like, are we not, like, they're not there? Like, they not going to be in your class? Like, it's only me and you. Yeah, we're talking right now, but he's got to come back to your class tomorrow. So why wouldn't your child be present for a parent-teacher conference?
So the kids aren't allowed to be at parent-teacher conferences? I don't know.
Not all the time. I haven't
done one of those.
I know, right? I know I haven't either. I haven't done one in a while, but
almost 30 years for me because my boys are, they're up there. So, but I didn't know they didn't allow the children. As far as I remember, they were there because I double dog wish a teacher would say something. I'm looking at him like, what? Where's your homework? Why
they're not always present. Look, they're not always present.
Wow.
But
so it's kind of optional. It should it should be mandatory.
Yeah. But I love that you understand not only just advocating, but the understanding of our kids need to see themselves. Like Absolutely. They have to see themselves.
They have to, because the society, the news, the media, social media often depicts Black and brown children as thugs, like you said, less than, criminals, pants sagging, daddy in jail, mama ain't home, crackhead, all the negative things you can attach to a person, they will attach it to three people and attribute it to everybody.
Generalize.
They will generalize it. And if a child doesn't know any better, if their parents don't have the wherewithal to teach them differently or monitor what they're watching or give them affirmative words, and you are this, and you come from kings, and you come from royalty, and your great grandfather and your great 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 grandma, we don't know who we are. I can't tell you who you are if I don't know who I am. Did I come from a royal lineage? Well, my family's been a long line of entrepreneurs. Now, they was moonshining, but they was making that money with that moonshine. Okay, so
a business is a business.
Entrepreneurism in my spirit. Yeah, I come from a family. On my mother's father's side, they were almost all entrepreneurs. So yeah, it makes sense that this is what I do is in me. But if you don't know that, and just like with anything else, if you can't see yourself in the books you read, you can't connect to the story. You don't know what it may affect your identity, and it definitely can affect your confidence. If everything you read is about little Becky and Ken, living their best lives on the beach, living in this palatial mansion, and their mother and father are working hard, and mom stays home and cooks and cleans, and dad comes home and everything is wonderful. That's not a whole bunch of people's lives.
Indeed.
But
even the ones that look like Becky and Ken.
Okay, and Ken. That's not a whole bunch of people don't live like that. But if that's all you read, that's all you see, that's all you can connect to, then you begin to believe the fallacy. And just on the other script, on the other side, if children who are Caucasian children don't see examples either in the media, TV, or in their community of productive Black people who are doing great things, if they're shielded from them or not exposed to them, or don't get books that maybe feature Black children, but doing things that any child would do, then they have a tainted perspective of the world. So by providing children with books that have diverse characters, it helps them see the world from different perspectives. I can live in this world. I do live in this world. And how I navigate this world could be predicated upon what I read in the stories I read. So in my children's book, I made it very clear to my illustrator, although we went around several times, honey, if you don't put a wedding ring on my son's hands, they are married. They're not just dropping seed across the country. Put the wedding ring on. And that may not be a big deal to some people. That was a big deal to me.
Representation.
And it's a little gold band, but it's visible in the book.
Representation.
They are dropping off their children, not from their baby mamas, but from their wives. Let's make that clear. And it's little subtle things like that children can be in tune to that stuff. They can connect with that and understand that stuff and value that stuff. That he's is not a daddy. He's a husband. He's in the house. He's taking care of them. Yeah. They're modeled after my sons. That's what they do. They better have. They better have done the right. And I can say that because I didn't. I was a single mother. I had them out of wedlock, and I was 18 when I had Lamar and 20 when I had LaShawn. I didn't get married till I was 30. So I was a single mother for 12 years. And it was important for me to raise strong, powerful Black men. And even though their biological father was doo-doo on a stick, you can edit that out if you want to. Even though he was just doo-doo on the stick, my father was present. I had friends and family who were present as strong, powerful Black men, because I can only teach them what I know. And I put them in spaces with men who were quality men so that they can see this is a men treat. So 3 years old, my son is opening doors. And people be like, he holding it. Yeah, he holds it for me. He'll hold it for you. Just tell him. Be respectful. Look, I don't play about my sons. I don't play about my grandbabies. I love them dearly, but then I also command their respect. So, but I put myself to be in a place to be respected. So you can't often request respect and not be respectable.
Exactly. That part. People be thinking that. Yeah, I know.
No,
I don't know. I'm the wrong one to ask her. Well, you remember how this conversation started? What's today?
What's my question? Thank you for clarifying.
But that that is important. That's why I'm grateful that I do have two little ladies that I'm raising, because to imagine and know all that is placed up against our young Black boys. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And I'm thankful for them. I'm grateful for them because I am an engineer and very analytical. I taught them, which I didn't know directly, but I mean, I can only teach you what I know. My son said to me, Mom, you really taught us how to be critical thinkers and problem solvers. I said, well, thank you, babe. I didn't even realize that. He said, but you didn't teach us how to deal with emotional women. Can't teach you what I don't know. I'm so sorry. Because I don't deal well with emotional women.
I'm like, let's go back to what I taught you.
Right. I'm very left brain, very compartmentalized, logical, fact based. I don't operate well in that. I don't. Right. Nothing wrong with crying and being emotional. It's when you can't function in your emotion. If you have outbursts,
or you get stuck there,
you get stuck there, and all you're doing is crying. And well, what's wrong? Nothing. But that's not true. I used to teach college level math, and I would have my students get up on the board. This is long before all this digital technology. Get on the board so I can see your process and make sure you're doing the work right. Because one thing about math is once you get the steps and understand all the rules, it is what it is. It's not going to change on you unless they add a new, concept. So this one young lady got up on the board and I don't give you an option. It wasn't like, who wants to volunteer? No, your turn. Come on up. She get up on the board and she stood at that board and she started crying. She didn't like this, but tears started flowing. And I walked over to her. I said, honey, I'm not moved by your tears. I'm going to give you a second to get yourself together, but you're going to work this problem out on the board because I need to make sure you're doing this right. Because if you're doing it wrong now, you're going to do it wrong forever. I want you to pass the class. You need a tissue? Here's a tissue. Get it together. You got a minute. When I tell you she worked that problem out on the board, and
she worked it out well.
She worked it out right. It had to elevate her confidence. I think what it was, she was afraid. I didn't ask her. I'm assuming, am I going to do this wrong? I don't want people looking at me. What if I don't do the right, blah, 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 blah. But I was there. I helped her. I guided her through the process. She got it right. And I have to believe it boosted her confidence. Okay, I'm doing this right. Okay, I did get it.
Right. Why is failure so scary for these young people?
Honey, it's scary. It's scary for me. I ain't going to lie.
No, well, you did say you got to plan.
I'm a perfectionist. I'm the one I got to ask 50 questions before I take a step. Analysis.
Me on the other hand, girl, I jump out the window all the time. Girl, I'm try this.
You scared. You see, I would be scared of you. I was like, oh, she done did it again. Woo, glory. Trust the net is gonna be there to catch her. Help her, Jesus. She is not me. But I need to be more like you because I realize that it keeps me from doing things. There's so much more that I could be doing in serving authors and serving children and moving forward. Like we talked about the nonprofit. I'm just like, let me read this book. Let me ask these questions. I need to talk to this person. What about that? Well, how's this? And well, while I'm doing that, I still ain't getting no money for the kids to get books. So I have to be more like you. Maybe not all the way over there.
You ain't got to come all the way to this side.
Tap my toe in the water just a little bit and say, ooh, okay, I could do that. But to just jump full in, well, there's a saying that says jump and believe that either you'll grow wings or God will catch you. Something like that. Yeah, I'm afraid to jump. My girlfriend said, girl, you a water walker? You a water walker? I said, girl, bye. She said, you are all the things that you've done. I said, I'm not walking on the water. I'm staying right on the boat. On the boat. You might think I'm walking on the water because of some hallucination you got, but I'm on the boat. Trust and believe. With the life preserver and the life jacket. Holding on to the rope. I am inside the cabin.
Holding on to the rope.
I'm inside the cabin in the hall. I'm not getting out on that water.
Oh my goodness.
A hot mess. But I think that becomes a testament of my perfectionism, which is not a good thing, a testament of my overthinking, which is not necessarily a good thing, and a testament of my fear or lack of faith, because fear and faith can't occupy the same space.
You got one or the other. Yes. So, and I operate on faith. I'm like, we're gonna work out. I only got $10 right now, but by this time,
you backstroking and forward stroking and butterflying. Yes, go ahead, girl.
Yes,
I'm cheering you on.
I know, but I need that balance. Like I have those people that are the opposite of me, and they always tell me, "Girl, you just do whatever you want," and I love that for you. But I need organization.
Oh yeah,
I need a schedule,
checklist, itinerary. That's me. Bullet points. Oh, that makes me happy.
I get it. But even with all of that, you are doing.
I am. We've been able to serve. In just our 2 years, we've been able to raise money to give 1,000 kids books. And I'm looking to, make that a much grander number, but I'm doing it in bits. Most of my donations are coming from individual donations. So I created a GoFundMe page, and then I just reach out to friends and family and complete strangers. Hey, you want to donate? $10 will put a book in a child's hand, and $15 will do this. The more they give, the more I can do for the children. But my goal is to make sure that these children, especially the Black and brown children, don't get me wrong, the book fair is open to any child. Because I've had Hispanic children, Caucasian children, anybody's welcome to come and they'll get the books. If as long as we have the inventory, they'll be able to get a free book. But my focus is for the children who don't see themselves in the books they read. So I do have a couple. I have one author from Trinidad. She has books in English and Spanish. So she comes. I have my children's book, Oh, the Things I Can Be. It's also in Spanish. So I have that. And then just so that those children, even though they may, because there's not a lot of Hispanic books out there. I've been trying to find books for all these babies. I mean, they have fewer books based on the statistic than we do. Of course. Chocolate folks, we're going to jump on the bandwagon, and we I can do this on Amazon, like point click. Now, some of the books are not that
point click.
Because I definitely vet the books that I carry in my bookstore for the, I buy books from the authors. The books that I really like are very well received. I will buy them from the authors at a discount and then sell them to families. My maximum to sell to families is $10. So that way I buy them from the authors at $7. So I'm not making a lot of money. If I sell off a credit card, I'm making even less money. So
right.
$2 something a book is what I'm making per book. Not a significant profit, but if it makes it affordable for families, that's what's important. And that's why I was talking about, the fundraiser, the GoFundMe, so that I can get donations in, so that I can do that effectively, be cost effective in giving these books to the babies. So it's I love the work that I'm doing. I love the smiles on the faces. I've connected with so many children. I let them call me by my grandma name, Mimi. I tell them my name, I said, but you're not allowed to call me Valerie. So you call me Mimi.
Levels to this, little baby.
Right. My nieces and nephews don't call me by my first name. You definitely do not get to do that. And so partnering, I'm doing more partnering now with some of the local schools. I'm a parent community partner with one of the elementary schools. And I'm now on the engagement team for one of the literacy programs with one of the public school systems, and just trying to get more involved and connecting. I want to do things with the children as far as writing their stories and getting them published. I did that for one high school. My high school, I did it in 2010. 39 high school students are published authors, and several of them use that on their college applications. Published author as the 11th or 12th graders.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to do more of that, but then the school funding is an issue. Schools don't have money to do this. I can't do it for free, because one, it's going to cost me not just my time, but the printing and the editing and all that goes into cover design, that goes into publishing a book. So
they had the money. Look, they had the money, Valerie. Just tell them to take it out of somebody else's pocket.
They got to do something, because it's frustrating, especially when there's a need there, and the children, they want. When I tell you, these babies love to see themselves in books. It's amazing to see how they line up.
Matters.
Absolutely, it matters completely.
Yes,
it affects their identity. It affects their legacy. It affects their visibility and their accessibility and their vision. Like, I can be this. I can do this. I see people, even in books or in person, who are doing the things that I want to do. Going out and talking to the kids as an author. I'm sure that you do, with the Homeschool Your Kids, going out and connecting with children and families. And so they can see, well, I can be an entrepreneur like Miss J. What do they call you? Miss J? What do they call you?
Yeah, Miss J.
I can be an entrepreneur like Miss J. I can live across the country and travel and help people. And, when they see people doing these things, and it expands their possibilities. And that's what I want to do. All our babies are not criminals. All our babies are not thugs. All our babies are not gigolos, jigaboos, wannabes. But no, that's
No.
not the
That's why I love
Florida.
Tia Brown. Tia Brown has a nonprofit in Chicago. She works with at-risk youth in Chicago, and she has like different entrepreneurs or crafters or just anybody that comes in, Black or brown, and she lets the kids see them and ask them questions, like you said about like just ask them questions about their profession, how they do what they do, why they do what they do, and learn and put
how much money you make.
Experience. Yeah, of course, you know they always gonna ask that. Got to be able to buy my things. But I love because representation, I just know the time I spent in the classroom, and I just know that our kids need this. Our kids need representation. They need to hear a different narrative. And I love where we're heading. Everyone's always caught up in the news and what's going on. And I'm just like, from the people that I talk to, things are headed in the right direction. I'm just saying. Saying.
Yeah. And we can't let one person or one group of people dictate how we raise our children, how we live our lives, how we, live in our families, and whatever else we do as a family, as a individual unit, as a community. We can't let one person or one administration shift how we treat each other. Now, you might be messing with my money because the things costing me more, taking me longer to get stuff, whatever that may be. But how I treat people and how I value people and how I treat and respect myself, that shouldn't be predicated upon an outside external influence. That is an internal thing. And you are who you are, no matter who's around you. You are who you are. You just don't let people, nope, you don't get to talk to me that way. You don't, no. I'm not the one.
But I love these conversations because I get to show on my platform, people are doing the work. People are being the change. It's like, understand that. That's why I tell my little people that I'm raising, my two little ladies, I was like, when y'all think about your future, think about a problem that you see and think about how you can be the solution. So whatever that looks like for you, whatever that problem may be, your problem, what you feel is a problem may be totally different than what I feel is a problem. Either way, be the solution. Be the solution.
Right. Definitely don't add to the problem. My oldest son, he said his whole goal is to leave this world better, no matter how major or minor it is, better than when he came here.
Yes.
That's a great goal.
Yes, even with interacting with people, leaving people better than you found them.
Absolutely.
That goes a long way.
That's something that's very important to me. I say that all the time. When people leave my space, I want them to feel better, encouraged, empowered, inspired, informed, whatever it is. My goal is to just, when people leave they're in a better mindset. Because you just don't know what one little word you can say that can elevate somebody or desecrate somebody. People are living some rough lives, and one look, one glare, one word can change the trajectory for the good or for the bad. My preference is for the good. I'd rather people leave my space and be like, she was so nice, she was this, she was that, instead of, oh, she the devil, I never want to see her again. Next time I see her, she gonna be face up in the casket.
Oh my gosh. I know. I used to tell my students, think about people sitting on the edge of a cliff, and your word can be either the words that's going to bring them off that edge or your words going to push them off that cliff. Which one you want to be? You have to understand your impact. Don't ever think that your impact isn't significant, because we're all a piece of the puzzle. We all matter. We all are here for a reason. And it's what can we do to make sure that doesn't leave our little people? They grow up understanding, I have a purpose here. I'm needed here. I'm wanted here. That's a heavy sentiment. They have to know that, because our babies, they be hurting. They be hurting.
Absolutely.
These little kids, y'all, they little delinquents, and that's just give them a hug. Let me feel like a hug to change everything. Just give them a hug. They would need a hug. Okay.
Absolutely. And you just never know what they're going through at home. Some children do have a very rough, some kids, I know this to be true in our community. Some children only eat when they're at school.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you see a child taking an apple, you can't be mad at a child taking an apple. Now,
And
unless that means
I would
another
hope
child's
that
not
you
going to get
wouldn't
an
be.
apple. Yeah, but they might be taking this food home for their mom to eat. You just never know. So it's like sometimes we see things from our own perspective, and it can be hard to look at it from other people's perspective. But just to give people grace. I told my girlfriend the other day, you got to give him grace. She said, I'm tired of giving people grace, but this ain't for him. This for you. Because as long as you hold him at this standard and not give him the grace to be lower, whatever lower is, you're always going to be upset. You're always going to be mad. So give him grace, give yourself grace. Oh, okay. She thought I was telling her to give him grace. She was getting, I don't want to give him nothing else.
I know, right? Well, honey,
it's for you, boo-boo. This for you.
You like being upset? Exactly. It's like you
like, how's that making you feel? What does that feel? My son's a mental health therapist. What does that feel like? Use your... Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you use that psychotherapy analysis on me. I'm your mama. Don't.
Feelings matter.
Right. I help pay for that degree. Don't question me with this.
When is the fair? When I see you?
It's Saturday, July the 25th.
Okay.
It is right now. It's always the last Saturday in July. I have it in Dayton, Ohio, and I have it at one of my former math students is the branch manager. So she's very helpful with me in confirming the space and everything. But it's going to be at the West Branch Library, Dayton, Ohio, July 25th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We normally have about 20 or so authors. There's writing classes where people want to learn how to write and publish books. That's free. My son, like I said, he does mental health work. He said, Mom, I think I do more therapy sessions for the adults than the kids. He said, the parents are asking so many questions. I can't serve the babies. I said, well, they needed to. But
they do.
Yes. And maybe if they were in a better headspace, the babies would be in a better headspace. The
babies would be in.
It's all intertwined. But he said, I did 30 sessions today. Thank you, baby. I love you.
Right?
Yes. Chick-fil-A, my nephew. So it's a blessing that the people in my life. My nephew is a regional director in Chick-fil-A. So he gives me 2 Chick-fil-A gift cards for every child, a breakfast and a lunch. And you ought to see the parents going through the bag. And I said, that is for the baby. What are you doing? Girl, I'm going to eat good. No, that's not for you. I
am somebody's baby.
Right. And I tell them, if your mama eats your Chick-fil-A, you come and tell me. I get multicultural crayons so the babies, have this set of crayons, either 8 crayons or 24 crayons, but all the crayons are shades of brown, one white and one black crayon, so that they can then make the characters in the book, their own colors. Normally in the crayon case, it's one color brown, chocolate brown. We're all hue from white to midnight black.
Yes.
So this way the kids can take the crayons and color. I don't give them the regular crayons because you can get them anywhere. But these crayons, you can draw yourself the color you want. They get writing journals are donated. Right now they're just line journals that they can donate, that are donated. They can write in. They get just all kind of goodies. And it's an experience. I've asked a couple parents, like, how long were you at the book fair? And one parent said, well, we were here for 2 hours because we did everything. The child walked around and talked to all the authors and then went in and did all the other sessions we had. So we were here for 2 hours, and it's. I want the kids to come. My whole thing is bring the kids. Yes. I've been to book fairs, supposed to be children book fairs, but they're not designed for children to be there. There's no activities for kids. It's just an author selling children's books, which is cool. But my thing is bring the babies. I want them to experience mental health work. I want them to sign up for free books, Dolly Parton or whatever else there is. I want them to talk to the authors, because the other part of the experience is engaging with people who look like you.
Yes.
You mean I can be an author? Absolutely, you can be an author.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can be an author. Let's talk about what that looks like. So, I have a child who's 2 kids are supposed to be working on a book. One little girl, hopefully her mother will have her book done in time to be at this book fair. If not, then she's, I think, 6 years old. So she'll be our youngest. We've had a child author there before who was, I think, 10 or 11. So this child will be 6 if her book is done in time. And then, of course, my grandbabies, they are in town, so I have them do the work. Oh, let me say the website is wheniseeme.com. Just like it sounds, it's spelled wheniseeme.com. No special letters or symbols, nothing. Wheniseeme.com is the website. They can go and find information about the bookstore that I had, the mobile bookstore, professional development I'm going to be doing, going into schools and doing that. Invited me in to do virtual in-field, in-school field trips where I'm either speaking to the kids virtually or in person, all kind of stuff, plus the book fair. My goal is to have other organizations hire me to come in and host book fairs for them. I've had a school do it last year. It was amazing. They purchased 350 books for their students. I had 7 authors come in. I flew my son in because he's in Atlanta. I flew him in from Atlanta, and it was my book fair, just not as robust, not as many authors. I normally had about 20 or so authors, but everything else was the same. It was amazing. The kids loved it. I got video testimonials. This was great. Are you going to have it next year, Mimi? Yep.
No. I got to see how it lines up with our schedule. Maybe we can stop through.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, I'm coming to your June event in Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore. Okay.
Yes. I'm excited about that. I know I got to get you a promo video.
Thank you. Yeah, because I need that energy, because this energy has been amazing since the beginning. Like, I know people be like, yo, you be acting different with people. It's something